Hello, beauties. Welcome to Moms Unboxed, a podcast where I unbox with you the how-tos, tips, and tricks to empower women to upgrade relationships, intimacy, and parenting. I'm your host, Melanie Caroline, a multi-dimensional woman, life coach, lover, and mom who's made a lot of fucking mistakes. If you want to live a sensual and liberated life, you've come to the right space. Don't forget to follow Moms Unboxed because you don't want to miss an episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Moms Unboxed. I am so excited to be unboxing this week. I hope you're having a good week, and if you're not, I trust that it'll turn around for you. What are we unboxing today, mamas? We got a hot topic for y'all, and I have a special guest, my brother, Matt. I'm so excited he's here today. He's been vacationing with us to Canada where we snowboarded, and now we're going to talk about trust. And how trust is eroded and how it can be rebuilt. Everybody, welcome Matt.
Hello. Thanks for having me, sister. I'm super excited to watch you on this journey of Moms Unboxed and join the podcast.
So today we're unboxing trust. Now, I know you mamas have all experienced how trust can be eroded in a relationship. And once that trust is broken, it's damn hard to trust again. A past relationship may have broken trust, and when we get into a new relationship, it can be hard to trust that person, even though they've not broken our trust in any way. Now, my dad always said that trust should be gained. Well, I don't know if I really believe that, especially starting out in a new relationship. Shouldn't you approach a relationship by first trusting that person rather than punishing them for a past relationship? What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, truthfully, I think I'm in the same boat. I think it's just like a artist and a canvas. I think you need to have a blank canvas, be able to move forward from your past trust issues or anything that has happened in the past. Moving into something new is exactly how it should sound. You are moving into something that is fresh. There hasn't been a reason not to trust this new person. You yourself should be clear-minded going into the new relationship, or else that trust will be already tainted from the past. So I think that's a perfect example.
Yeah, and if only it was that easy, right, ladies? If we could literally just dissolve any past trust issues we may have from a previous experience, we would all have healthy relationships, but that's just not the reality of it. See, we hold on to patterns and we hold on to situations that eroded the trust, and we do carry that into the relationship. Unless we are able to heal from those experiences and really have that blank canvas that Matt's talking about. Unfortunately, like I said, that's not always the case. Matt, why don't you tell us a story about how trust was broken, or perhaps you broke the trust or someone broke the trust for you, so that we can get a really clear idea from a young man's perspective of how trust is broken. Now, Matt, how old are you? Tell everybody.
I just turned 26 not too long ago.
Yeah, so you're getting this perspective of a 26-year-old who is developing the trust and understanding what does trust really mean in a relationship. And I think this is great because my brother and I are a generation apart, damn near. I turned 36 in September. And when we talk, he has this very different perspective. And then I have a different perspective based on my own wisdom, understanding, and relationships. So let's hear a story from Matt and see what y'all think.
All right, so let me lay it down from the foundation. So in my generation, online dating has become the new culture or phenom. And so I partaked in an online dating app and met this woman. And we kicked it off. We talked real well, communicated very well over, the online dating platforms and social media. And so now it's time to hit the dating scene and actually take it to face in person. So first date we do is a football game, and we're having a lot of drinks. It's a social atmosphere. So I bring a couple friends and I meet a couple people at the football game. That way, it's comfortable for everybody and it's not just a serious one-on-one date. It's more of a fun vibe. We kick this football game off and we're having a couple drinks and we're being social, lighting it up, and everything's going real well. After the football game, we carried over to my buddy's house. Little did I know that the friends from the football game were going to come too. And so now it's a big old party. Here's where the trust factor was broken. Not even a couple minutes after getting to the friend's house, my date starts spit swapping with another woman. And immediately, for me, that broke my trust. We didn't have any ground rules or anything like that, but with the respect was gone, the trust was gone with it. After that, we continued our talk and continued our date and proceeded to carry on with interacting after that night. I was told that that was a one-time thing, that's not going to happen again, and that's not really like her. All right, with that happening so soon, in my mind, that respect and that trust was already broken. She put herself in another situation where that trust was completely broken again. So, without us even making anything official, my respect was broken, my trust was broken twice, and it was safe to say that that no longer carried on after that.
But wait, tell everyone how that trust was broken a second time.
So the second time, I think it was a little bit of my own fear kept creeping in. We were supposed to go sit in the hot tub. And so another party night happened. And with a couple more friends, my date and I obviously brought some clothes to change into for the hot tub. My date went to a room with the females while I was not aware of what they're exactly doing. My mind kind of crept up and gave me negative thoughts of maybe the same thing was happening from the first date, of maybe making out. That fear already was carrying over to the second date.
Now, I don't know, ladies, I have a different perspective on this because I remember sharing my perspective of this story in real time with my brother when he chatted with me about it. And if a relationship is not established, boundaries haven't been established, and you're just talking to someone, what do you think, ladies? Do you tell someone that, hey, I may be bisexual, or hey, I like to make out with ladies? Do you be that honest and upfront with someone that you're not even really dating? You've gone on 2 dates, but there was no ground rules of, hey, we are official. We are just dating each other. And having those boundaries established is really important if you are actually officially dating someone. For Matt, that broke his trust right at the beginning because nothing was communicated from this female that, hey, she might like to dabble with some other females. And there is nothing wrong with that. If you've been listening to my podcast for a while, you know that I'm bisexual. If I was on a date with someone else, I wouldn't be making out with someone else. So there, I could see how respect definitely was broken. But I don't know how honest and open I would be with someone on a first date telling him my sexual orientation. So I'm not sure, but I definitely would respect the person enough to not be making out with either a male or a female when I'm on a date with someone. So I can definitely see, Matt, how that would kind of fuck you up a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't, nothing was essentially established, but yeah, the respect was out the window. And then, of course, I wanted to talk about the accountability. So before we were put into that situation, we did have a little talk saying, is this something that I should become accustomed to expecting? Is this something that you're going to put yourself in the position to? And I was told, no, this isn't something I need to worry about. But as far as like building trust, accountability comes huge because I think I'm a strong believer of actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, certainly. Accountability is crucial in building trust within a relationship. Did she take any responsibility for what she did? Did she apologize at all?
She understood where I was coming from and the feeling I was having of feeling disrespected. I don't think it was anything that she needed to feel sorry for. If she is bi, then I opened up the conversation. Maybe she can come out there and let me know. But no conversation of that persisted.
Yeah, and that's difficult when you are first having conversation with someone or you go out on a first and second date. does that person feel safe to be that open? And if you don't feel safe enough, that's fine. We shouldn't be sharing our whole life story with someone on a first date anyways. But having that conversation of, hey, I do like to make out with other people. Is this an issue for you? Or just not making out with other people because you are on a first date. Now, this actually reminds me of a story. My partner, Donnie, and I, we were snowboarding up at Crystal, and there's this really cute gal who was very intoxicated, but she was on a date with someone, and she started chatting it up with Donnie. And it ended up where Donnie was driving her new 4Runner around the parking lot, doing wheelies and spinnies and all kinds of donuts and shit. And we went back to the bar just in town closest to the mountain. And she was hitting on Donnie with her date sitting right next to her and basically telling Donnie, why the fuck are you with me, Melanie? Why are you with her when you should be with me? Like, literally, those were her words. And she was sitting right next to her date. Like, talk about some real disrespect.
Yeah, that's another thing that goes with integrity. We're going to go back to the accountability. Your actions are speaking louder than words. If you see these things happening at the first glimpse of your relationship before, my situation where boundaries weren't set, but let alone like this happening in front of your date, or you're doing this in front of somebody who you think you might be interested in, there's just a lot of broken trust in my mind in that situation.
Yeah, for sure. Her date didn't last long. He basically got the gist of what she was trying to do, that she was trying to pick up someone else's partner and basically leave him in the dust. And Donnie wasn't having any of her bullshit either. Needless to say, she slept alone in her own vehicle that night. She was real fucked up. So when we talk about rebuilding trust, we first talk about boundaries. Establishing and respecting boundaries is essential for building a relationship. And you want to do this at the early start of a relationship. You want to be able to talk about, what are your values? What are your morals? What is it that you find difficult with having trust in a partner? Because the new partner may have not done anything to erode trust, but if you're coming from a background where trust is naturally more difficult for you to have, then you need to have that conversation so that that partner understands where it is they can help you grow and where it is that you can build that honesty and bridge the gap. For instance, I'm struggling to trust in my relationship, not because Donnie's done anything wrong. He's actually shown me the exact opposite. All his words and actions align. He's been there to help me heal and rebuild the foundation of trust that I have lost in my heart. And part of that is because I broke the trust in my marriage in multiple ways. Now I fear that perhaps the same thing may happen to me, like karma will come back around, even though karma has been had for me. I have lived out my karmic cycle. But it's still that difficulty with trusting, especially when you're in an ethical, non-monogamous relationship or a polyamorous relationship. So having that conversation early on in the relationship is going to build that trust and that integrity so that you both can move forward with transparency.
Why don't you tell us about a time or an example that you feel like you are the one who is responsible for the broken trust?
In my marriage, we were polyamorous for a short while, and I had gotten into a relationship with a very toxic person. He was a functioning alcoholic. I'm telling you, about half a gallon of vodka every 2 days. And I felt responsible for his life because anytime that I would try and leave, he would threaten to commit suicide, try to threaten to hurt me. And it was just a very shitty relationship. And because of the fact that I felt so chained to this person, it broke the trust in my marriage because we weren't being honest with each other anymore. We weren't being supportive with one another. And the boundaries and confines within the poly relationship was absolutely broken because we didn't really have those conversations at the beginning. when we first got into polyamory, we were just, we were exploring, we were experimenting, but we didn't say, hey, this is the boundaries within our relationship for this polyamorous dynamic to actually work. Even though I saw that it affected my marriage, I couldn't stop because I felt so addicted to the love bombing and the manipulation and the toxic cycle that I had found myself in. And the fact that I felt responsible for his life, whether it's monogamy, polyamory, ethical non-monogamy, it doesn't matter what type of relationship that you have. You need to ensure that you are building that foundation of trust. And that's what's going to continue helping that relationship grow and build.
How do you think noticing your mistakes now, noticing where you may have went wrong, how do you think honesty has helped your relationship now? And especially when it comes to admitting mistakes and moving forward with difficult phases in relationships that you are in right now?
That's a great question because I'm a very honest person. I'm not a very great liar. I have no poker face, y'all. No poker face at all. And so I am extra honest in my relationship because I understand how important it is to communicate. Even when the conversation is difficult to have, you need to be honest and transparent with your partner, regardless of what the topic is. So whether it's talking about your needs, wants, desires, about challenges that you're having, your emotions, your feelings, your partner deserves to know what it is you're experiencing because we shouldn't assume that our partner knows what is going on within our mind and our heart. In my relationship now, where we are beginning to open our relationship and we are exploring what does that look like for us, we need to be extra honest with each other. We have not had any sexual relationships with anyone else outside of one another, but Donnie has been very consistent with, hey, I am not a monogamous person, and at some point in our relationship, I would like to take the opportunity, should the opportunity arise, to explore having relations with someone else. And I've had to be absolutely okay with that. And if I'm not okay with that, then it's my responsibility to end the relationship or find, different living situation and communicate that to him saying, hey, I thought maybe I could do this, but now I can't anymore. And so making sure that that trust and that honesty is had and the communication is happening is so important. So even if it's you want to explore different things within your relationship, if you find that, you want to start exploring with different toys in the bedroom, you need to be able to communicate and trust your partner to be a safe person to explore those desires. Having that honest conversation is going to create an openness, safety, and security in that relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's literally a choice to have trust in that relationship. If he is laying out everything that he needs, his wants, his desires, everything like that, and he's laying it out there, I mean, it's literally a choice. You can decide to go along with what his wants are, and if they mutually coexist, then I think that's a huge responsibility for the both of you to do that with honesty and integrity.
Yeah, I love what you said there, Matt, is that you have to mutually coexist with both partners' wants, needs, and desires. If one partner wants one thing and the other partner doesn't, and you don't respect the boundary within that relationship, you're going to erode the foundation of trust that you have. And within my dynamic, we've had such open and honest conversation that we are absolutely on the same page about what we want for our future. And if I wasn't able to be ethical non-monogamous, this relationship wouldn't work. It's a value of ours to be able to be open and curious and discover other people within our relationship dynamic. Now, I've been in relationships previously where I did not explore my bisexuality, where I completely closed that part of me off and I wasn't living my authentic self. That now is a value of mine of where I have to be able to be my whole and complete person just as I am. And I have to have that within my relationship, but it also comes with communicating so that that trust is not eroded. Now, what are the 6 foundations of building trust? And number 1 is honesty. You have to communicate in an honest way so that you both are transparent in building that foundation. So whether it's sharing your thoughts, your feelings, concerns, desires, needs, and wants, even when it's difficult, you should be able to express yourself to your partner in a safe and feel safe and secure in doing so. Now, if you're being honest and your partner is rejecting you, they're making you feel like shit, they're gaslighting you, then that's not going to build trust in a relationship. You have to be able to be a safe person to receive the communication and respond. Number 2 is integrity in trust. You have to be able to have your actions and your words must align consistently in order to build that trust. Now, if Donnie and I have set the boundary of, hey, we're going to start doing this open relationship together, and he's going off and doing his own thing, then that's not moving in integrity. That's not fostering a sense of security and reliability, and you're not standing by the commitment of your relationship.
Absolutely. Third one is boundaries and trust. Having clear boundaries and understanding exactly where that line is when it comes to relationships is going to avoid so many conflicts. When partners honor each other's boundaries, it's easier to understand that I can trust this person and do what they need to do without crossing any lines and boundaries. Establishing boundaries is something that looks like, hey, when you go out to the bar, I can trust you enough to know your tolerance level and be able to understand that, hey, I might need an Uber tonight because I'm not feeling too great. Or, hey, I might need to text my boyfriend and say, I'm going to sleep at Mindy's tonight because I'm not going to be safe enough to drive home. Something like that can increase trust in a relationship. And it's comforting to know that your partner knows exactly where that line is drawn.
Yeah, exactly. Establishing those boundaries, like we said at the start of this episode, is so important at the beginning of a relationship. A lot of people don't actually conversate about the boundaries. What happens is one partner will do something that upsets the other partner because the other partner has established within their mind that that's a boundary that they have, but they haven't communicated it. And so what happens is you get into this confrontation about how you broke my trust. And it's like, well, hold on a second. I didn't even know that was a thing that could break the trust. I didn't even realize that that was a boundary. So in order to prevent breaking boundaries, you need to express it and you need to understand that having misunderstandings and conflicts within a relationship is normal. It's how you resolve those things that's most important. So first, establish those boundaries at the beginning. And then if you break the boundaries, number 4, y'all, is taking accountability. There is nothing more that erodes trust when you can't take accountability for your mistake. We're all going to learn lessons in a relationship, but you have to take accountability because if you avoid the fact that you perhaps broke a boundary or weren't living in integrity, you're going to take a jackhammer to that foundation of trust. And that accountability is going to be lost. And so you have to be able to demonstrate integrity within the lessons that you are learning and you're experiencing together. And this shows the value of the relationship. This shows that you value your partner. You value learning from mistakes by taking accountability. What do you think about that, Matt?
Yeah, I'm a big accountability guy. I'm not perfect. I don't think you're perfect. I don't think there is anybody here that's perfect. So being able to come to your partner with vulnerability and say, hey, I might have screwed up with this. You talk about reestablishing boundaries. It's accountability is going to show your partner like, hey, I made a flaw, but I'm willing to fix it. And that's going to go a long way for you and your partner.
Yeah, I agree. And just to touch back with boundaries is that boundaries can shift throughout the relationship. When you first start out, you may have hard set boundaries because you want to ensure that that trust is built. But as the relationship goes into 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, you may have different boundaries because that trust has been built like a beautiful, big magic mountain. And so you're not going to have this tight hold, perhaps, over what happens in a relationship as you did at the start of a relationship, especially when it comes to open relationships. You may have hard set boundaries on certain things, but then out over time, as you understand, well, hey, this is actually working well and feeling more secure in the relationship, those boundaries might shift. And so you want to make sure that you are also flexible in understanding, like, hey, I actually don't feel the same way I did at the beginning of a relationship, or even more, I don't feel like I did when I was with my ex who absolutely fucking broke the trust. And I feel more safe and secure in myself to understand that my current partner is never going to do the things to hurt me like my ex did.
Awesome. Number 5, supportiveness and trust. Me, for myself, this goes a long way being an athlete. Support can look like a lot of different things, but from an athlete's perspective, good or bad game, having support to say, hey, we're going to get back at it in the gym this week, or, we're going to go to practice and we're going to work a little bit extra harder this weekend. Good or bad games, that's what support looks like as a player's perspective. But as far as in a relationship and a partner, to be honest, I've learned a lot about supportiveness, a whole lot recently, and you want everybody to win. And it's not just me who wants to win. I want that promotion. I want the extra money. I want the new car. But in a relationship, I want you to work harder for this promotion. I want you to get recognized for this amazing thing that you did at work. I want to support you however you're looking to be supported. And I really appreciate those kinds of ways to be supported. What do you feel?
No, I love that. I love how you say you want both persons to win, because in a relationship, being supportive is so important. I couldn't do what I'm doing now if Donnie didn't support me, and he wouldn't be able to do what he's doing now at the capacity in which he's doing it if I wasn't supporting him. And relationship is teamwork. It's not always going to be 50-50. There are times where I'm at 30 and he's at a 70 and vice versa. And being able to lean on each other, be each other's rock, is going to build that trust. It's going to build that support system that both partners need in order to coexist together, to live life together. And not only that, but it also shows empathy. And it shows that you have this unwavering support for each other and commitment for each other. And you're also concerned with each other's well-being. You want both people to win in a relationship. That's a beautiful, absolutely beautiful way to have a relationship, is wanting each other both to win. And in that, you continue to build trust in each other, and you continue to support one another to build that safety and security. Number 6, trust is a choice. And I know this is a hard one. This is a difficult point to swallow, especially for you mamas who have been cheated on. You've had your money stolen. You have this ex who may be obsessing over you, or they hurt your child. They said something mean. Trusting a new partner is a choice, regardless of the hurt past that you've had. Even if you've been the one to break the trust, you have to be able to trust yourself and question yourself. Are you in alignment with your values and your morals? Are you in alignment with the boundaries that you've set for your own self? And I think that's one of the things we don't look at enough, is how have we eroded trust, and how can we rebuild that trust so that we're trusting ourselves, we're trusting our own choices, and we're trusting our inner compass. Because it takes a lot of faith in believing that you are reliable, that you have good intentions, and that you won't make the same mistakes again. And sometimes that's difficult, especially for you mamas who've been in previous toxic relationships multiple times. If you being able to trust that you're going to make the choice to never do that again. And if you are struggling with trust, DM me at I am Melanie Caroline. Let's have a conversation, because I do believe, and I speak from experience, that you can trust your choices again. You can find that partner that you will trust. And here's something I'm going to tell you that Donnie used to tell me all the time. And this is a game changer for me. And it took me a while to actually really get through my stubborn ass brain. But anyone who loves you and supports you and wants to be in a relationship with you, their intention is to not hurt you. If they're pointing out perhaps your tone of voice or your body language or the way you're talking to them, their intention is to not attack you. They're simply trying to help you understand so that you can be a better person, a mom, and a better partner. When trust is eroded and we have this traumatic experience from a past relationship, that we are constantly feeling like we're attacked, and we always have our guard up and a wall up. And at some point, in order to continue building trust, you have to let the walls down. You have to let that person in your heart, because the truth is, trust is a choice. And although it's hard and we are vulnerable in choosing to trust, we always have multiple choices, and we can guard our heart and we cannot let that person in, or we can open our hearts and we can learn to trust a person. Do you have anything else to say, Matt?
Yeah, I do actually. If we think about the foundation that we built, we have honesty and trust. We have integrity and what that looks like in a relationship. We set our boundaries at the beginning and we are accountable if following those boundaries. Supportiveness, we understand what that looks like. So I'm so glad that we put it at 6, because we have the foundation. It is vulnerable to say yes. It is vulnerable to take that leap of faith and trust your partner. Really, it comes down to you. What do you want to do? Do you want to trust that person? You make the choice.
All right, mamas, thank you for joining in as we unbox the foundations of trust, something you will need to have a healthy, successful, and loving relationship. That's it for now. Join me next week as we unbox another topic. Until the next time, sunshine. Thank you again for joining me for another episode of Moms Unboxed. If you have a topic or relationship question, connect with me at I am Melanie Caroline. And don't forget to follow Moms Unboxed. May you live a liberated, sensual, and unboxed life. Until the next time, sunshine.